How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Grimm from the Bug Out Boys, and welcome to another bot. And this bot is titled Layers to Live By. Now, layering clothing is no secret. It's been around for centuries. But I think it's often overlooked because, to me, it is one of the most versatile and important pieces of gear in your bug out kit. Because no matter how many tents or hammocks you pack or how many primitive shelters you build, you're going to end up in the elements with just your clothing, which is your number one shelter. A basic layering comes down to a base layer, a mid layer, and a shell. Now in a cold environment, what are those layers doing? They're trapping air. It's not the fluffy stuff that's keeping you warm. The fluffy stuff is trapping air, and your body is heating that air and keeping you warm, because this air is the single most efficient insulation, bar none. In a hot environment, it's protecting your skin from the sun, and it's keeping your most precious moisture that's in your body against your body to keep you cool and to keep you hydrated and to prevent some dehydration. So, base layers are not created equal. During a warm environment, I wear this base layer because it's got nice little vents in it, it wicks away my sweat, it keeps me cool, and it's comfortable. But during the wintertime, not so hot. During the wintertime, I move over to this merino wool, which traps the air better, doesn't allow that wind to go through because it doesn't have those little vents in it, things like that. Still wicks away the sweat, but it keeps me warm. Now, your insulative layer, or your mid layer, you've seen me wear this a bunch of times, and you don't have to just have one. You can have more than one. You need to experiment and figure out what works best for you in different temperatures. But, as you can see, this has a Henley collar, so I'm able to vent it. That's very important, because one of the best parts about having layers is that you can unzip, unbutton, vent, get your body cool if you're overheating from exertion or whatever, because you don't want to sweat in your layers, especially in a cold environment, because that sweat is going to make your layers less insulative and less efficient and cool you down and, well, death. Case in point, I'm also might be looking at another insulative layer that has a bigger zipper, or a zipper I should say, so I can vent a whole lot easier than just this guy. Finally, you have your shell, and that's exactly what I mean, just a shell. There is no insulation in this jacket. It is merely meant to break the wind, to prevent convection, and to stave off the elements like rain and snow, to prevent your insulative layers from getting wet and not insulating you. I thought about that though. If you have a big old puffy down jacket or whatever, and you put on a shell and that compresses that jacket, guess what you've done? You've destroyed all the insulative properties of that puffy jacket because not as much air is able to get in there and to keep you warm. So keep that in mind when you're creating your layering system. Make sure your layers are loose, not just for comfortability, but for efficiency. Right, so we talked about the base layer. All of that can be applied to your legs, but don't forget about your feet. You can layer up on your feet, have a base layer that helps with the friction so you don't get blisters, and then an insulative layer. Same thing with your hands. Got two different pairs here. A wool pair for when it's not too bad, and then more of a windbreaking layer, and then this pair can fit right into this pair and really keep me warm when need be. Because, again, what are you trying to do? You're trapping air. Finally, I know this is a bit of a discussion amongst scientists, but do not forget about your neck and your head. Because your neck and your head are, well, unfortunately, they like to gain and lose heat very easily. Now, it's up to debate on how much it is, but from personal experience, it's a lot. Because you got these big old arteries right here, close to your skin, easily able to be chilled or warmed, and then you have a lot of blood going in your scalp. Because when you get cold, a thing called vasoconstriction happens all over your body. Your blood vessels shrink, they get away from the surface of your skin, so your fat can act as an insulation. Well, that happens everywhere in your body but your scalp. And no matter what, your blood is pumping to this brain because this is your CPU, it's your processor. If this isn't running, none of this is running. So it's very important to think about. So don't forget about your neck. Usually almost always have a Shemagh with me because not only can this insulate your neck, it can also be used as a head covering and a face. And the nice thing about this is that it does keep you warm, but you can drench this in water and you can wrap it around your neck and your head and cool down your arteries when you start getting overheated, because I've experienced that firsthand myself. So, hope you enjoyed this bot. I hope I've been able to explain the basics and some of the intricacies of layering. If you did enjoy it, please do subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, please do leave them below. You know I love to read them as well as respond to them. So, thanks for joining us.